Okay. Welcome back to another awesome video. This is another reading video. I'm gonna read. Or actually, I don't even know if I can show this. Because I think technically you're not even supposed to read. You're not supposed to. If it's not like a public domain book. Like it's public property, anybody can do anything with it. I don't think this is one of those. I think this is something a privately published work. So I may or may not get sued for reading this. And I think me showing the actual book in the title would possibly increase the likelihood of that happening. And I can't afford to get sued right now. I can't do it. I can't afford it. But so yeah, actually I'm not going to show it. But I'll tell you. It is the... Actually, I'm going to tell you later. I'm still going to record a separate part of this. Oh my gosh. I'm probably just going to cut that out. You guys don't need to hear that. Embarrassing? Very embarrassing. Oh my gosh, there's so much background noise right now. But anyways, also this is my cool guy beanie that I think makes me look cooler. But anyways, I'm gonna read this book, and I gotta do this quickly before something else interrupts me. Also, this is dedicated to somebody very, very special to me in my life. My favorite person in the entire world, and my best friend. But or as she would also like to say it, my only friend, which she is. But I mean, that still doesn't mean it makes her any less special. You know, she's still my best friend, and I love her. And this is for her. And her name is Lupe, Lupe. That's how you spell it. So you know exactly who I'm talking about. And also still link her channel in the description, so you can go subscribe to her, and me too, if you want to. That'd be cool. But yeah, this is dedicated to her. And yeah, to you. Oops, that was like that's way off. You. Let me get it right to the. Let me use my other hand actually. This is better. Yeah. To you. You know who you are. And oops. Hold on. Sorry. Tighten this. But yeah, this is for you because I love you. I do. I really do. Like very, very much. And yeah, this is a labor of love, passion project by me for you. Once again, you know who you are. And I hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it. And anyone else who watches this, hope this is, maybe gets something out of this. I don't even know who that is. That was a random number. I thought it was going to be somebody I know, but it's not. Just can't record anything in peace. But anyways, yeah, I think that's it for now. And yeah, I hope everyone likes it. But especially you. You know who I'm talking about. I hope you like it. And it is satisfactory. I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of these at this point. But yeah. I'm going to get into the video now. Or there is going to be no video. It's just going to be reading. I'm going to put a still image. And then it's going to be me reading over it. That's all it's going to be. This is the only video part actually right now. But yeah. Goodbye. Okay. Here we are. Another video. Another reading video actually. And as the intro said, yeah. Actually, this is going to be a bit different from the intro though. Because when I made that, I was planning on reading like an actual book. Like I did last time. But then I was like, you know what? I think maybe it'd be cool if I did something else. And also, too, I probably reduce the likelihood of once again me getting you know, attacked by the law. Cause like you're reading this book illegally, you can't do that. I was like, okay. So I thought, it'd be cooler, maybe even funner, and even more interesting for the person I'm making this for, or made this for, currently am recording this for. I think it'll appeal to them a lot more. So, instead of reading a book, I'm still gonna read, but instead of a book, I'm gonna be reading My Little Pony fan fiction from the Film Fiction website. Yeah, I know. Pretty big deviation from the last topic, and probably won't appeal to a wider general audience. But it's really not even supposed to. This is made for just one person only. Nobody else is even supposed to be watching this. So, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna read it anyway. So yeah, I thought I'd read a couple of these. Whichever ones. These ones that look fun, or interesting, or funny. So yeah. Oh, so wait, I gotta actually find one. I already have one right now, actually. So here we go. This one is called Bell in the Well. Written by A Soul in Limbo. Ooh, ominous. Okay, and then the thumbnail of this story is I don't know if you've ever seen King of the Hill, but it's those four guys just standing there in front of a truck. So here we go. Bell in the Well. Let me see. Let me try and this is gonna be tough. Not because I can't read, but hold on. Okay, I got it. Okay, here we go. Oh wait. I know. Okay, never mind. There's like a title chapter too. It's called "Oh Well," and it starts like this. Apple Bloom looked down into the massive hole. Well, Scootaloo, who was also looking down into the massive hole, nodded. Well, Sweetie Belle, who was looking up out of the massive hole, nodded. Well, Big Mac. Oh, that sounds so good right now. Oh, that sounds good at Big Mac. The meal with the fries and okay, anyways. Who had been alerted to the situation by Winona, I'm not sure who that is, was also looking down into the massive hole. Yup. The four stared at each other for a silent moment longer. Sweetie Belle looked at the bucket she'd accidentally dragged down with her, then back up at the confused trio. Oops. Apple Bloom furrowed her brow, nodding. Oops. Scootaloo looked at her wings, then at the bucket. Oops. Big Mac nodded eagerly. Oh, that sounds so good. Okay, sorry. I haven't eaten yet. Anyways. Oh yeah. He said, Yup. Winona spotted Applejack come and investigate the crowd around the old Apple family well, and promptly did what dogs are known to do. Oh, that's a dog? I thought it was another pony. Excitedly scramble under every pony's legs to get to Applejack in the shortest distance possible. Apple Blossom lost her balance. Whoa! Scootaloo lost her balance. Whoa! Big Mac, despite his size and weight, lost his balance. Whoa! Sweetie Belle, watching her friends falling down toward her, yelled, Eek! Apple Bloom sighed. Well, Scootaloo struggled in vain to free her cramped wings. Well, Sweetie Belle grunted from under the pile. Well, Big Mac grumbled awkwardly. Yep. Hold on, that was different. Yep, that was better. Applejack stared down into the well, then rolled her eyes. Should I do a southern accent for this? Well, I'll get Rainbow. That was terrible. At hearing the name of another friend, Winona excitedly attempted to run figure eights under Applejack's legs. Everyone yelled, including a falling Applejack. Not yet, Princess Twilight looked down to the massive hole. This is pre-season, I forgot when that happened. Anyway, she was like, well, not yet confident, Fluttershy looked at her forelegs, suddenly wishing she had gone to the gym. Well, not yet Wonderbolt Rainbow Dash looked at her bandaged wings, suddenly wishing she had not gone to the gym earlier that day. Well, pile of ponies at the bottom of the well looked at all of them, being quite bored and annoyed. Yep. The end. Wow. That was a good story. It was interesting, humorous, funny, comical even. So it ends with all of them just falling down a well. Hopefully they get out of that. Maybe there's like a darker, extra version of that story where they just all are stuck down there until they all, starve or something. I don't know. Okay, next story. Actually, I'm realizing I should have probably gathered these before I started this video, but whatever. There's another one here. It looks interesting. Sweetie Belle finds an oil well. See, that sounds cool. Oil. I wish I could find an oil well. I could be rich. This one's also pretty short, too. Oh, man. Kind of, not really. Oh, my gosh, okay. Well. Is the title of this chapter. Berry Punch took a sip of her pear juice and leaned back in her chair. She had always been a loyal customer of the apples, but their cider was getting more and more expensive ever since Granny Smith was diagnosed with cancer. Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's tough. I wonder when that happens in the show. Berry Punch didn't really care what she drank, as long as it had a good kick to it, and the pair sold it for the cheapest. Berry Punch heard something loud. She thought it sounded like rain. She sat there for a while until she realized it was sunny outside, and that Derpy should be delivering her copy of Horse Life 3 today. Half-Life reference, okay. She staggered to the door and opened it. Granny Smith sends her regards. What, did her house just get bombed? I don't know who any of these characters are, except for Granny Smith. Applejack shot Berry Punch. What? Oh my gosh. Applejack shot Berry Punch before she could even register the words. She put another bullet in her skull just to be safe and dragged the body to her wagon. She covered it with a tarp and trotted over to Sweet Apple Anchors. Oh my gosh, okay, this took a... Okay, maybe I should have read the tags. The first two are violence and death. Okay, well, I mean, we're already reading it. Well, this is action-packed at least. Whoa. Part 2. Sweetie Belle loved visiting Sweet Apple Acres. There were so many things that the Cutie Mark Crusaders could try to earn their Cutie Marks. Okay. Today, Apple Bloom had convinced him to come over and try earning their Cutie Marks in chemotherapy. Oh my gosh, that sounds very complicated for 3 little kids to do. Violet Sparkle had told her that chemotherapy involves putting poison in your body. So Sweetie Belle brought a nasty smelling bottle that already called Eau de Toilette. Cutie Mark Crusader chemotherapists! Yay! Oh my gosh. As Scootaloo was about to inject the Eau de Toilette into Granny Smith's forearm, Applejack burst into the room. Is Granny Smith just like... She just like crippled at this point? She's like, She didn't even say anything. Apple Bloom, I need your help. She noticed Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo inside. You two, follow me. Applejack led the Cutie Mark Crusaders to a horrible-smelling wagon with a tarp covering it. "I need you to dig a hole for me to bury this, treasure chest. We need to keep it hidden so no pony finds it." Cutie Mark Crusaders leaped into the air and screamed. "Cutie Mark Crusader, hole, Diggers, yay!" Applejack sighed in relief and handed them some shovels, pickaxes, and a wheelbarrow. Oh my gosh, Minecraft reference, pickaxes. Immediately, they got to work. They took turns digging at the dirt and carrying it away. Applejack inspected their work for a couple of minutes and headed inside to get some rest. Yeah. After hours passed, Sweetie Belle felt her strength slipping away. They had dug so deep that they had reached a really hard rock that never seemed to end. Finally, she struck one final blow with her pickaxe and turned to quit, when she heard a hissing sound. She looked for where it was coming from and was shocked to see that it came from below her. Then the ground exploded. In a matter of seconds, dozens of barrels of crude oil gushed out of the hole Sweetie Belle had created, soaking Sweet Apple anchors. "Cutie Mark Crusaders, Sadie Arabian oil moguls, yay!" Saddle Arabian. Okay. Applejack rushed outside to see what was happening and saw that the Cutie Mark Crusaders had discovered oil. She rushed over to Granny Smith to tell her the good news. "Granny, Apple Bloom found oil. We are rich now. We can afford to treat your cancer." Granny Smith winked in confusion. "Cancer? Who said I had cancer?" she asked. "The witch doctor you visited said." Applejack started to reply, but was cut off by Granny Smith. "That was a fortune teller, not a witch doctor. She told me I was a cancer, not that I had cancer." Applejack face hooved. She took a look outside, saw that all the trees in the orchard were coated in crude oil. Oops. "Granny, trees are dead," said Applejack. "The oil poisoned them." "Don't worry, Apple Bloom," she replied. Wait, what? I thought it was, okay, I think they got mixed up. Applejack. Hold on. Close enough. Anyways. Oh, the granny was like, see, now she's confused. I was confused too, damn. Okay. Anyway, the oil should keep us alive until we can get new trees to replace the dead ones. A limousine pulled in front of Sweet Apple Acres, and Filthy Rich stepped out, along with an army of lawyers, surveyors, and other ponies. I'm guessing Filthy Rich is another person, I don't know. "Granny Smith," said Filthy Rich. I haven't gotten to that arc yet. Anyways, "I own the resource rights to this land. The oil is mine." Granny Smith looked at Applejack and shrugged. Oh gosh, here's a long part. Over the next few weeks, an oil well was constructed in Sweet Apple Acres. The Apple family starved and depended on the charity of others to survive. Sweetie Belle and the Cutie Mark Crusaders did not get a cutie mark in digging holes, finding oil, or hiding bodies, much to their disappointment. Barry Punch's body was never discovered, and the apples were able to get away with getting rid of many other customers who traded the apples for the pears. Shouldn't they get rid of the pears instead, though, instead of killing the customers? Lot hole. Okay, anyways. Granny Smith and the rest of the Apple family would eventually be evicted from their home, so more oil wells could be constructed. Granny Smith would die of cancer. As it turned out, the fortune teller was actually trying to tell Granny Smith that she had cancer, not that she was a cancer. Many of the residents of Ponyville began moving out due to the new oil wells in town. Ponies that remained were forced to work for Filthy Rich in extracting the oil from the ground. Dozens died from catastrophic accidents due to a lack of safety standards. As Filthy Rich earned more and more money from the oil wells, Princess Celestia began to notice. In a speech seen by millions of ponies around the world, she accused Filthy Rich of hiding weapons of mass destruction on Sweet Apple Acres, and sent the royal guard after him. When they seized Sweet Apple Acres, they dug holes all over in an attempt to find the weapons of mass destruction. Instead, they found billions of barrels of oil. and no weapons of mass destruction. Princess Celestis shrugged and began constructing more wells on top of sweet apple anchors. At this, Filthy Rich escaped, and was eventually found hiding in a small hole in the ground, hidden by bricks and rubble, and containing a fan and an air vent. He was executed, and his heir, Diamond Tiara, suddenly found herself having to drop out of school in order to run the family business. As a result of this, she was unable to find time to come to bully the Cutie Mark Crusaders, who saw this as a great victory. Cutie Mark Crusader Apple Stormers! Yay! And that was the end of that one. Okay, that was a lot more extreme than I was thinking it would be. A little depressing, too. It was still pretty funny, though. Say it was humorous. It was enjoyable to read just because of how ridiculous it was. Oh, and also, this one was written by, K. Marcel. Oh my gosh, did I just say that? I meant to say spelled Kemarsel. Kim Marcel. Just to, give credit. I'm not just reading people's stories. Man, actually, I don't know if I can continue after that one. That was honestly kind of depressing. That just kind of ruined my magical mood. Let's see. Should I find one more? Maybe one that's not as sad. Let me see. Oh man, dude, I don't even know. That kind of demoralized me. Here's another one. This one has, oh my gosh, never mind. How many chapters? This one has like 13,000 words. And how many is this? Like 7 chapters? No, thank you. Actually, no, after that, maybe I should just read a book now. It's going to be a hybrid video. We read 2 of those things, and now we read an actual book. Okay, I'm diving in. Yeah. Genre change. Should I read this one? Or this one? Or, no, I'll go with this one. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll go, nope, wait. I think. Will we? Uh, eh, yeah, we will. Okay, so this one's an actual book. And it is called, this is the one I was originally going to read, so I think I should, just so, yeah. Just like a little bit of it. This one is kind of a little wordy, though. Or not wordy, there's a lot of, like, I kind of skimmed through this first chapter already. And there's a lot of name drops of places that I have no clue where they are. And nor how to pronounce them, really. At least properly. So, yeah, just bear with me on this one. If you can. And the title of the book is The Count of Monte Cristo. I'm sure you've probably heard that one before. Okay. On February 24th, 1813, the lookout at Notre Dame de la Garde signaled the arrival of the 3 master Farron, coming from Smyrna, Trieste, and Naples. As usual, a coastal pilot immediately left the port, sailed hard by the Château d'Ilf, and boarded the ship between the Cap de Morgial and the island of Riu. At once, as was also customary, the terrace of Fort St. Jean was thronged with onlookers, because the arrival of a ship is always a great event in Marseille, particularly when the vessel, like the Farron, has been built, fitted out, and labeled in the shipyards of the old port, and belongs to an owner from the town. Meanwhile, the ship was drawing near, and had successfully negotiated the narrows created by some volcanic upheaval between the islands of Palsarane and Jarre. It had rounded Palmague, and was proceeding under its 3 topsails, its outer jib and its spanker, but so slowly and with such melancholy progress that the bystanders, instinctively sensing some misfortune, wondered what accident could have occurred on board. Nevertheless, those who were experts in nautical matters acknowledged that, if there had been such an accident, it could not have affected the vessel itself, for its progress gave every indication of a ship under perfect control. The anchor was ready to drop, and the bowsprit shrouds loosed. Next to the pilot, who was preparing to guide the Farron through the narrow entrance to the port of Marseille, stood a young man, alert and sharp-eyed, supervising every movement of the ship and repeating each of the pilot's commands. One of the spectators on the terrace of Fort St. Jean had been particularly affected by the vague sense of the unease that hovered among them, so much so that he could not wait for the vessel to come to land. He leapt into a small boat and ordered it to be rowed out to the Farron, coming alongside opposite the cove of La Reserve. When he saw the man approaching, the young sailor left his place beside the pilot, and, hat in hand, came and leant on the bulwarks of the ship. He was a young man of between 18 and 20, tall, slim, with fine dark eyes and ebony black hair. His whole demeanor, page turn, possessed the calm and resolve peculiar to men who have been accustomed from childhood to wrestle with danger. "Ah, it's you, Dantes," the man in the boat cried. "What has happened? Why is there this air of dejection about all on board?" "A great misfortune, Monsieur Morel," the young man replied. "A great misfortune, especially for me. While off Civita Vecchia, we lost our good captain Leclerc." "And the cargo?" the ship owner asked brusquely. "It has come safe to port, Monsieur Morel, and I think you will be content on that score. But poor Captain Leclerc—" "What happened to him, then?" the ship owner asked, visibly relieved. "So what happened to the good captain?" "He is dead." "Lost overboard?" "No, monsieur. He died of an apoplectic fever and a terrible agony." Then, turning back to his crew, he said, "Look lively, there. Every man to his station to drop anchor." The crew obeyed. As one man, the 8 or 10 sailors of which it was composed leapt, some to the sheets. Okay, I read that wrong, I feel like. Oh my gosh. Rewind. As one man, the 8 or 10 sailors of which it was composed leapt, some to the sheets, others to the braces, others to the halyards, others to the jib, and still others to the brails. The young sailor glanced casually at the start of this operation, and, seeing that his orders were being carried out, prepared to resume the conversation. "But how did this misfortune occur?" the ship owner continued, picking it up where the young man had left off. "By heaven, monsieur, in the most unexpected way imaginable. After a long conversation with the commander of the port, Captain Leclerc left Naples in a state of great agitation. 24 hours later, he was seized with fever, and 3 days after that, he was dead." How did I just lose my place? Okay, there we go. We gave him the customary funeral, and he now rests, decently wrapped in a hammock, with a 36-pound cannonball at his feet and another at his head, off the island of Giglio. We've brought his medal and his sword back for his widow. Much good it did him, the young man continued, with a melancholy smile. To fight the war against the English for 10 years, only to die at last, like anyone else, in his bed. "Damn it, Monsieur Edmund, what do you expect?" said the ship owner, who appeared to be finding more and more to console him in his grief. "We are all mortal. The old must give way to the young, or else there will be no progress or promotion, as long as you can show me that cargo. All is well with it. Monsieur Morel. I guarantee you. If you take my advice, you will not discount this trip for a profit of 25,000 francs. Then, as they had just sailed past the round tower, the young sailor cried, "Furl the topmast sails, the jib and the spanker! Look lively!" The order was obeyed with almost as much dispatch as on a man-o'-war. "Let go and brail all!" At this last command, all the sails were lowered, and the progress of the ship became almost imperceptible, driven only by the impetus of its forward motion. "And now, if you'd like to come aboard, Monsieur Morel," Dante said, observing the owner's impatience. "I see your supercargo. Okay. Monsieur Danglars coming out of his cabin. He will give you all the information that you desire. As for me, I must see to the mooring and put the ship in mourning." The owner did not need asking twice. He grasped hold of a line that Dante threw to him, and, with an agility that would have done credit to a seaman, climbed the rungs nailed to the bulging side of the ship. While Dante went back to his post and left the conversation to the man he introduced as Danglars. The latter was indeed emerging from his cabin and coming across to the ship owner. The new arrival was a man, 25 to 26 years old, somewhat somber in appearance, obsequious towards his superiors and insolent to subordinates. Hence, even apart from the label of supercargo, which always in itself causes aversion among sailors. He was generally as much disliked by the crew as Dante's was loved by them. I just went on an insane fumble spree right there. This probably sounds like I don't know how to read. Sorry. "Well, Monsieur Morel," said Danglars, "you've heard the bad news, I suppose?" Yes. Poor Captain Leclerc. He was a fine and upright man, and above all an excellent sailor, weathered between the sea and the heavens, as was proper in a man responsible for looking after the interests of so important a firm as Morel and Son," Danglars replied. Sorry. "Even so," the shipowner replied, watching Dante's while he searched for his mooring. "Even so. I think one need not be a seaman of such long experience as you say, Danglars, to know the business there is of... Oh my gosh, I cannot read this. I can read it, but, man, maybe this just shows how much I don't read out loud enough. Okay, sorry. Where was I? Something about business. There was our friend Edmund going about his. It seems to me like a man who has no need to ask advice of anybody." "Indeed," said Danglars, casting a sidelong glance at Dante's with a flash of hatred in his eyes. "Jesus. Yes, indeed. He is young and full of self-confidence. The captain was hardly dead before he had taken command without asking anyone, and made us lose a day and a half on the island of Elba, instead of returning directly to Marseille." "As far as taking command of the ship is concerned," said the owner, "that was his duty as first mate. As for losing a day and a half at Elba, he was in the wrong, unless there was some damage to the ship that needed repairing. The ship was in as good shape as I am, and as good as I hope you are, Monsieur Morel. That day and a half was lost on a whim, for nothing other than the pleasure of going ashore." "Dantes," the owner said, turning towards the young man, "would you come here?" "Your pardon, monsieur," Dante said. "I shall be with you in an instant." Then to the crew he called, "Drop anchor!" The anchor was immediately lowered, and the train ran out noisily. Dante stayed at his post, even though the pilot was there, till the last operation had been carried out, then ordered, "Lower the pennant, and a flag to half-mast. Unbrace the yards." "You see," Danglars said, "I do believe he thinks himself captain already." "So he is, in effect," said the owner. "Yes, apart from your signature and that of your partner, Monsieur Morrel." "By gad, why shouldn't we leave him in the job?" said the owner. "He is a young man, I grant you, but he seems made for it, and very experienced in his work." A cloud passed across Danglars' brow. "Excuse me, Monsieur Morrel," Dante said as he came over. "Now that the ship is moored, I am entirely at your disposal. I think you called me?" Danglars took a step back. "I wanted to ask why you stopped on the island of Elba." "I don't know, Monsieur. It was to carry out a last order from Captain Leclerc, who gave me, on his deathbed, a packet from Marshal Bertrand." "Did you see him, Edmond?" "Whom?" "The Grand Marshal." "Yes." Morrel looked about him and drew Dante's aside. "And how is the Emperor?" he asked earnestly. "He is well, as far as I can judge by my own eyes." "So you saw the Emperor, too, did you?" "He came to visit the Marshal while I was there." "And did you speak to him?" "It was he, Monsieur, who spoke to me," Dante said, smiling. "And what did he say?" "He asked me about the ship, the time of its departure from Marseille, the route it had taken, and the cargo we were carrying." "I think that had it been oh my gosh, what? I think that, had it been empty, and I the master of it, he intended to buy it. But I told him that I was only the first mate, and that the ship belonged to the firm of Morrel and Son." "Ah, yes," he said, "I know them. The Morrels have been ship owners from father to son, and there was Morrel who served in the same regiment as I did, when I was garrisoned at Valence." "By heaven, that's a fact!" the shipowner cried with delight. "It was Policar Morrel, my uncle, who later made captain. Dantès, tell my uncle that the Emperor remembered him, and you will bring tears to the old trooper's eyes. Come, come now," he went on, putting a friendly arm across the young man's shoulders. "You did well to follow Captain Leclerc's instructions and stop on Elba, even though, if it were known that you gave a packet to the Marshal and spoke to the Emperor, you might be compromised." "How could it compromise me, Monsieur?" said Dantès. "I don't even know what I was carrying. An emperor only asked me the same questions that he would have put to anyone else." "Please excuse me," he continued. "The health authorities and the customs are coming on board." "With your permission?" Of course, my dear Dantès. Carry on." The young man went off, and, as he did so, Danglars returned. "So?" he asked. "It appears that he gave you good reason for stopping off at Porto Ferrajo, and I do believe, that is where I will stop for today. But I think that was pretty good though. Not really actually. I think my reading was pretty abysmal when I got to the actual book. Next time I'll probably pick up again. Maybe in the meantime, actually, I'll read ahead a little bit to kind of train myself. And then the next time I do a reading video, which is probably going to be pretty soon, I'll sound a lot better. I think my goal is to reach ASMR levels. Like my voice is it's really deep and quiet and soothing, and it could put you to sleep. Which I do not think this video was like that at all, but I mean, you know what? It was still good. But I think I shall end it here. And to anyone who happened to watch this, I hope you enjoyed, I suppose. But yeah, once again, this is made for one person only. You know who you are. I'll still give him a shout out anyways. It's Lupe. My best friend. My best friend in the whole world. This is for you. And I hope you liked it. I hope it was a nice video. Enjoyable in some way. I hope my reading wasn't too abysmal. And the sound of my voice wasn't too, grating. But, yeah. This is the end. And, yeah, I guess I'll see everyone in the next video that I happen to make. Yeah. So, bye. And, yes. Maybe, oh wait, actually. Never mind, actually, okay, yeah. This is the end. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, now this is actually the end for real. Hey. Hello. Welcome back to another video. Now, actually, I re-recorded. I had to re-record this intro because the original one, I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this book, and then I ended up doing something different in this video, kind of. So, yeah. Anyways, here I am. And yeah, today is another. It's gonna be another reading video. I feel like I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of these, but yeah, and I'm gonna be reading. I ended up reading some other stuff. Honestly, I said it like when the video actually starts, and like the other intro. This is like, this is like an extra. I'll probably put this at the end of it. It'll be like I don't know, like a end credits or something. I don't know. But once again, this video is for Lupe, my best friend in the entire world, who I love very, very, very much. Yes, you out there. You know who you are. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Actually, what am I doing? I was gonna make another intro, then I started talking, and then now this is like an end thing. I have no idea, honestly. I'll just like throw it all together or something. I don't know. It'll come out fine. But anyways, yeah. I love you, by the way. I love you very, very, very much. And I'm saying this specifically to my best friend. Specifically, so if you got this far and you heard this, it's not for you.